Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be unboxing the new Booked for Spring collection from Cocoa Daisy and putting together a project. Let's go ahead and dive right in. You guys, Cocoa Daisy has been just knocking it out of the park this year with their kits. I feel like so far this is my favorite year. I have loved every single collection and I'm super excited to dive into Booked for Spring. This collection was released for April of 2026. And what I'm going to do first is just set up my tray here. I do link in the description box below what this tray is. I get a lot of questions about that. That was a really bad tape job. But these are sometimes available on Amazon, but you can often find them other places for much cheaper. I linked the Amazon one because you can then at least get all the product details and look for it elsewhere if you want. But essentially, I use these to store all my kits while I'm working with them, and I keep them in my IKEA Calyx so I can have a few kits out at a time. I just tape a label on here with clear tape, and I will rip that up when I am done with this kit and ready to move whatever's left into my stash. So let's go ahead and dive into what I have in here. Okay, so first I just want to talk about what I get. So there's always a cute little sticker in your box, and this one is just adorable, that little bird. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that yet, but it's so cute. So I get every month 4 kits. I get the Classic Cousin sticker kit, which is a flat sticker collection that is designed to fit the Hobonichi Cousin, but really works in all sorts of journals and planners. I get the stationery kit, which is just like one of the smaller kits with a mix of a variety of products designed more towards journaling, but works in planning and just all sorts of things. I get the washi trio add-on because I am obsessed with washi tape. And then I get the scrapbook kit with the pocket card add-on primarily for project life, but I use it in all sorts of projects. So let's go ahead and open the Classic Cousin sticker kit first. Okay, so this kit comes with one vellum sheet and the rest are stickers. They're all stickers, but these are vellum. These are just on paper. This is just so cute. So it's kind of like a book. It's a book theme, but very springy. There's always this sheet that is more like planner focused. There's always an alpha sheet with a number, and then this one that has like planner icons and days of the week. And then there's the vellum sheet, and then there are 2 with these boxes which work really well on the weekly spreads for the Hobonichi Cousin to put in the sidebar if you want to cover up the little calendar at the top. But I don't actually use a Hobonichi Cousin, and I still find these to be super useful. I can use them in my daily pages. I use them in Project Life, all sorts of places. I love this little guy right here. And then, of course, there's extra labels on here, which are great for all of the projects that I do. And then there's a sheet with word phrase strips, which I am obsessed with word phrase strips. I use them all of the time. And then just some cute stickers. These are just adorable drawings of little birds. And I love the colors this month. It's super springy, which is great. I'm so excited to be done with winter. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in my tray and move on to the next kit. Okay, so let's do the stationery kit next. So this kit comes with always a vellum and a transparency. These are so cute. I'm hoping to start putting some of these in my story albums more this year because I love them and I often hoard them because they're just adorable, but I want to use it. So I'm going to try to do that. Then you've got this clear sticker sheet Oh, the little traveler's notebook. Just so, so, so cute. There is a stencil, which this would be really good to make a book tracker because it has all of these books to put on like your bookshelf, and then they'd all be uniform. A 4x6 postcard, which I tend to just use these as 4x6 pocket cards, but you could use them in all sorts of ways. And then there's a couple small sticker sheets. We've got the days of the week. I love the little coffee cup ones. And then some books and some little characters with speech bubbles. Then let's see, we've got a few things in packages I'm gonna open. Okay, so one of my favorite things about the stationery kit is that it always comes with a sticky note pad, and these are great for adding journal spots to scrapbook pages, project life, in my journal, and I just love that you have so many, so there's like no reason to ever hoard them. These ones are cute little tags this month, so it's super versatile. This month there's this huge pin that says life happens, coffee helps. I think I'm gonna just stick this on my desk because I love that. See if I can, I know you guys can't see that, but I just leaned it up on my desk. I'll share a photo. And then we've got some die cuts, but we have a washi tape. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this in my journal. So it's cute little birds, and there's some plants and some book stacks in there. Adorable. And then we've got a die cut set. Get a little bowl out, put these in. So the die cuts from Cocoa Daisy are all stickers, but from this kit, they are vellum, which is super fun because they're extra thin to go in your journal. I'm just gonna go through them quickly. We've got a notebook and a pen, a lot of books, some birds, a cute bookshelf, glasses, this little owl, just so cute. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the washi trio. Okay, so the washi trio comes with 3 washis that coordinate with the collection. Sometimes they overlap with kits. Very rarely do I get duplicates with the kits that I get. I think that there's one of the kits, I think it's the creative kit, where it's always a duplicate for one of them, but I'm not sure because I don't get that kit. But I like getting the washi trio because I'm obsessed with washi. I definitely have a washi problem, so I probably shouldn't get the washi trio, but I use it all of the time in my journals, so I'm not that bothered by the fact that I have so many. So I'm gonna swatch these ones. There's that nice green floral, which is just a good basic. It'd be great for layering. So this one's like books and coffee and a few little owls. So less birds than the first one. Okay, and then the last one is a vertical washi. I'm gonna just do it horizontal so it can be swatched with the rest of them, but it is just a vertical book stack. And I believe I have a washi from Cocoa Daisy that is similar to this one with the vertical book stack from another book themed kit that they had a while ago, but that one was fall, so it was fall colors. So this one's in the fun spring colors of this kit, which is super fun because you can never have too many scrapbook washi tapes. Okay, let's go ahead and open the scrapbook kit. Okay, so these scrapbook kits are jam-packed with so many products. The way that Cocoa Daisy does the scrapbook kit is you got a core kit, which is all of this, and then you choose your add-ons so that you can use the kit for whatever type of scrapbooking you do. You can get the traveler's notebook, you can get 12 by 12 papers, or you can get the pocket cards. I got the pocket cards because I love Project Life, but I do use these in traditional layouts as well, and I find that it works great for that. Regardless of what option you select, you still get the 6x8 papers, which work great for all sorts of scrapbooking. So let's go ahead and look at the papers first. There also are always 2 blank white pieces that are 6x8, and I love these as having just some extra paper that I can use as a base for things or to crop down to cards because it's just great quality. So you have 2 of each pattern. They are double-sided, but then you can choose which side you want to use, and if you like both, then you can use both sides because you get 2 of each. You've got some patterns, some more basic ones, and then more icons. Love these this month. I just love this simple cross one and the coffee mugs. Like I can't with this. It's so cute. And then we have rub-ons. There's always an alpha set. This month it's a nice puffy in this like dark gray, which is perfect. Very versatile. We've got a 3x4 stamp set. That is such a cute little photo frame. Chipboard set. They have been doing this for the past few seasons where we get the name of the season punched out in the chipboard, and I kind of wish I knew that before because I think I used the winter one, but that would be really fun to use them in an album. I'm hoping that we get all of them, or maybe we already did. I can't even remember. I remember getting autumn and winter, but yeah, it's super cute. This little bird guy, oh my goodness. Okay, we've got a sticky pocket here, which would be great in an album. I might use something like that. I like to use in travel albums to have more interactive pieces. And we've got a washi tape, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this and swatch it. So this one's a nice basic reddish pink pattern. I have found, and I don't know if this is like a hard rule, but in the time that I've gotten Cocoa Daisy kits for the past few years, I found that the washi tape that comes in the scrapbook kit is usually a little bit more of a base pattern so you can build on top of it, whereas the ones in the other kits often have more icons on them. So just something to keep in mind if you are looking and trying to decide which kits you want to pick up. So this has these little folders and some of the patterns from the kit. We've got some enamel dots. These have been coming in pretty much every kit, and I use those all of the time to create bullet points. Then we've got some die cuts. Okay, so just like the die cuts in the stationery kit, these ones are stickers, but these ones are not vellum. Instead, they are a thinner cardstock. There are so many in here. So these ones usually have a little more sentiments and things. I find that they are just better for scrapbooking layouts, but you really can use them interchangeably. I'm just gonna kind of lay them out so you can see. so cute. These are just adorable. Okay. Then we've got this sticker roll. So Coquette Daisy has done these before in some of the scrapbook kits, and I always love them. And let me just peel this up. It's hard to peel the end, but we just have a sticker roll of these clear stickers. And these are so fun for repeating designs on layout or for layering embellishments. These ones are, let's see, they're we've got some reading ones and just some like general life documented, some patterns, just very versatile. Really, really love these. And then we have the pocket cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and put music on while I lay these out. Okay, there you go. There's a look at the scrapbook kit. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and go over to my computer, print out some photos, and I'll pop back on and put together a project. Okay, so I'm putting together April in my daughter's album, and the first thing I did, kind of what my process is for this, is I take this is just my random notes book, and what I did is I took this over and flipped through my Project Life album for April, and I wrote down kind of all of the things that happened related to my daughter during this month. And so I have those notes, and then I went through all of my photos from April 2022, and I printed out a few. So I have quite a few here. I definitely need to, so these 3 are from the same day. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put like a story about that. And then I have just a few other ones. And so I'm going to do like a journal card that is a recap of the month probably. Not entirely sure how I'm going to lay it out. Maybe something like this. Because I want, or maybe I want all of these 3 together like that. No. Maybe like that. There we go. So this journal card can be about these. I'll put that up there. Not sure yet. Oh, got a tab here. Okay, so I'm going to go through the cards and figure out, but essentially I know I need 2 3x4 cards and 1 4x6. I moved all of this stuff over on my desk because I actually didn't finish filming this yesterday when I did the unboxing. So it's just kind of been living on my desk for a little bit until I was ready to put the spread together. So these kits always come with a 4x6 card that has the month on it, and I essentially just use that for my title card for this spread. It pretty much always works. Then I'm going to go through these journal cards and see what works for these spots. Okay, so a lot of the cards in this kit are book themed because this is kind of a bookish themed kit. My daughter is not a huge reader, and I don't really have any stories about books for this spread, which is totally fine. I am a huge reader, and I do have some stories I want to tell using this kit about books. So I'm going to save those cards for those other projects. And then I want to use one of these bullet point list cards for my stories. And then I'm going to do journaling on here about this story, which was on Earth Day. We went to go for a hike, and then we went to a farm to see baby animals and stuff. So I'm going to just tell that story. I was kind of considering maybe putting it on here. I love this card. It's so cute, but it doesn't really fit. So my other option would be to make my own journaling card. Actually, there's these. I think I'm going to use one of the, oh no, I'm not going to use one of those. I could make my own journaling card just by adding some white paper onto one of the pattern papers. I might end up doing that and then saving this one. I'm obsessed with this paper, and it's so basic, but I love it so much. I don't know. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. What I'm going to do first, I think, is figure out which one of these cards goes just by going through my stories and figuring out how many highlights or things I have to tell about this month. And then I'm going to go through and probably embellish and figure out this journaling card. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on voiceover while I get this one put together.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the Moments of Note journaling card, and I just pulled over my extra journal where I wrote down my notes for the stories that I wanted to tell in this month because, as I said in the intro, this is April 2022 and I'm putting this together in February 2026. So I would not remember at all what happened this month if I did not have notes and photos to look back on. Even if you don't have project life or something similar to look back on from a previous year, just looking at the photos is enough to tell me enough of the story that I can still document some things. I can tell from the photo of me and my daughter in the car that we just got our hair done. I can tell from the photos of us on the hike where we were because it's a place that's near us that we have gone multiple times. From the baby animal, I can tell that we went to a farm to see baby animals. Maybe I wouldn't have remembered that those happened on Earth Day, but I still would have been able to add some details of the story. So I do get a lot of questions about this project and going back because I got a comment recently that people don't see a lot of these projects of people going back and filling things in from such a long time ago. And I agree, it is hard. It is harder to go back and tell stories from a longer time ago, but it is not impossible. And the longer the more time that passes, the harder it is. So I highly recommend, if you have some older stories that you want to tell, take this as your prompt to pull out some of those photos and just document something. Even if it seems overwhelming to do the entire year or whatever it is that you want to get done, doing it a little at a time, you still get the story told. So I have been doing this now for a few years. I think I started with 2020 and now I'm on 2022. And I just do one monthly recap per month. And I am slowly but surely filling in these gaps in my daughter's album. So it's totally doable. So yeah, don't be intimidated by how much you have to tackle, because even if you only got one or two stories told, that's still something, and it's still fun to look back on. So anyways, back to what I'm doing. After I finished my journaling, I pulled over the die cut pack and I just selected some of the die cuts that I wanted to embellish some of my photos. And then I'm going to work on that additional journaling card. So what I decided to do was make my own journaling card, which is something that I like to do pretty frequently with these kits because they come with the pattern paper, which is perfect for cropping down and creating your own journaling card. And often the journaling cards in the kits have prompts on them, which I love and are super fun to use, but sometimes they don't match your story, which is totally fine because you can just make your own. The way that I'm doing this here, and this is just kind of something you can always do, is I cropped the pattern paper down to 3x4, and then I cut a square that is slightly smaller than 3x3. I think it's like 2.8 by 2.8. And I used my corner rounder to create that white journaling spot and stick it on top of that pattern paper. I could have left it just like that, but I added a chipboard piece at the top just to add a little bit of a title and a little bit of interest. And I honestly love making a journal card like this because that makes it more personal rather than using a card from the kit, which honestly, the cards from the kits are amazing. And that's why we get kits, to make this easy. But sometimes you want a little bit of a personal touch in your project that nobody else is going to have exactly the same. So if you make your own journaling card, you're really getting that. And just looking at that chipboard sheet that you can see on screen there are so many sentiments and a decorative chipboard pieces that I could have used instead of the spring one, depending on the story I wanted to tell. There's a few about books. There's some that have no sentiments on them. There's one about currently. So there's just a lot of options when creating your own journaling card. I didn't fill up the entire journaling spot, so I just did some messy stamping for the date to put the date on there and added just a little chipboard heart to complete that card. I'm working on my title card here and just stamping the date or the year, which is something I've done pretty consistently on these spreads, and using that same that same alpha stamp. I just picked that up on Amazon and will link in the description box below, but it's one of my favorite kind of go-to alpha sets, and I keep it on my desk because I use it just so frequently. And I like that I'm using it in all of these spreads so that they kind of have that continuation throughout the album. I am now adding on all of my embellishments. These die cut pieces are adhesive backed, so that makes them super easy to adhere onto my photos. And then for these two cards, I'm going to put them in a 4x6 pocket, even though they're both 3x4s, which is something I do pretty often. So I just attach them together with some washi tape, and I'm adding that die cut piece on there. I wanted to add something on top of it to add just like a little bit of a note about what this photo was, but there wasn't really anything in the kit that was really speaking to me. So I think I end up leaving it plain. I can't even remember at this point. We'll see what I do. That is a photo of my daughter with some of her friends from cross country. And oh yeah, so I remember thinking about using these. I love these clear circles, and I was kind of annoyed I didn't find anywhere to use them on this spread. Now that I'm looking at it, I think they would have looked really nice to add onto that title card for a little bit of additional embellishment. But oh well. This photo of me and my daughter going down these slides, we're just kind of laughing and having a fun time. So I put this die cut piece of like these goofy birds on it because I thought it went really well with the kind of feel of the photo. And then that's going to wrap this up. Putting these pages together each month are super simple, and it's just a great way to go back and tell those older stories. So I just can't stress enough how much I encourage you to do something similar, especially if you get monthly kits. But even if you don't, just take a kit each month or products each month and just document the current month for a previous year. So if you're documenting April 2026, also go back and document April 2022 or 2020 or 1999, whatever year it is that you need to go back and document. It doesn't matter if you do it at the same time. It just makes it so much more manageable. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.